Well, good morning to you. Now listen, whether you're a reader or you've been meaning to finally pick up a book and get through it, who doesn't appreciate a good story?
That's right. And this morning I got a chance to speak with one of the greatest American spy novelists about his new book. All right, how's this for a thrilling story? A bomb explodes aboard the holiday yacht of a member of the British royal family, and British intelligence turns to one man to track down her killer, a legendary spy and assassin. His target, a master bomb maker and mercenary of death. Move over, James Bond. Joining us to talk about his latest novel, The English Spy, is Daniel Silva. Good morning, Daniel.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing really well. It's nice to have you on. So for people, that have heard of you, but, maybe, they haven't done some research, can you tell us a little bit about what you do and the types of novels that you write?
Well, that's a good example of the type of novel I write. I write stories of international intrigue and espionage, but I try to make them palatable for a mass market audience. So they're a lot of fun. They're summer reading, and they feature my character, Gabriel Alan. He is an Israeli intelligence officer who happens to have an interesting cover job. He's one of the world's finest art restorers. And so the stories have they appeal to people who might not necessarily be automatic fans of the thriller espionage genre.
Right, and this is actually the 15th novel featuring your protagonist. And did you ever think that it would ever last this long?
No, because I created him to appear in one book and one book only, and I had to actually be talked into writing a second Gabriel Alan novel. So no one is more surprised by the fact that there have been 15 than I am.
Yeah, that's quite the number. Now, every story always has an antagonist, a bad guy. So can you tell us about the one in The English Spy?
His name is Eamon Quinn, and he is a former IRA master terrorist and bomb maker who serves as sort of an international teacher and instructor on how to make bombs. And I wish that it was pure fantasy, but that's actually not true. That after the war in Northern Ireland ended, a number of really skilled bomb makers went out into the world and sold their expertise. And one of the places these guys ended up was Iran. In 2006, a delegation of former IRA terrorists went there, and they built some very sophisticated bombs and weapons for the Iranians that found their way into Hezbollah and found their way into southern Iraq. And it's a very sad irony, but British soldiers serving in Iraq faced the same kinds of weapons that British soldiers faced during the war in Northern Ireland.
With all the twists in the book, do you know them beforehand, or do you sort of find them out as they come?
I have never been able to really outline a story from beginning to end. I've tried it a couple of times, and frankly, it just doesn't work for me. So I prefer to, as soon as I know enough about the story I'm working on, I try to bring it to life on the page. And a funny thing happened in this novel is that I wrote some scenes that I thought were straight, when in reality the characters involved in those scenes were part of the conspiracy, and I didn't know it at the time. And it was an interesting exercise, and I hope that I'm able to duplicate it sometime in the future, because it turned out very, very well. I mean, the twists are wonderful in this novel, because even I, at the time, didn't realize it. I was so in tune with the point of view of my character that I did not realize that I was in the midst of a twist at the time I was writing it.
That's fascinating. Writers really have such a fantastic mind, and I want to thank you for writing this book, and I look forward to reading the rest of it and anything else that comes out in the future, maybe with Christopher Keller, right?
It's possible.
All right, excellent.
Thank you.
Daniel, thanks for being on today.
Thank you so much.
And stay where you are. The Morning Blend will be right back.